Okay. I'm tickled to see that I don't have to use... Oh, God. I'm tickled to see I don't have to use Photo Booth to upload videos any longer. There's going to be one that I upload that's out of order. That's only 5 minutes because my kitty, just like this time, jumps onto my laptop and ends the recording. Very mischievous kitty. Yes, very mischievous. I'm I'm really having problems with this painting in terms of wanting to do it. It's been so long and I'm not feeling like I'm getting enough out of it. So there was a turning point a little while ago before I started coloring the hell that if had I have gone on that and just left everything in hell as a sepia tone instead of coloring it, it would have made the painting finished by now. And so this is almost too much. Yes, still hopped up on painkillers. Anyway, so I hung out with a very old friend yesterday from junior high school, and that was really relieving. And then I kind of made up with a friend again today, and yesterday during the day I met up with another old friend, and she and I talked for probably an hour just about everything, and it was just so good to have a summer day with people that I know showing up. And later on tonight, I am going to another old friend's house. So I guess this is what summer barbecues are kind of all about. But yeah, one moment. Anyway, the whole thing kind of grounded me. Seeing these old friends, it kind of lightened my load, my psychic load, to some extent. So you ever have so many things moved by the wind that it almost feels like the force is going on around you? That's kind of what it feels like right now to me. The force is with me. My soul is light and carefree. Those types of things. Anyway, because I'm feeling extra light, and because this camera cannot really zoom in on the part of the painting that I'm working on, and because I'm not feeling too particularly philosophical, it's probably best to just end this video and continue painting. But do I do that? Do I? Am I going to do that? Maybe. Maybe. Just not yet. Just not yet. Maybe something. Maybe I have a few things to say after all. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm feeling. Just the things that old friends can remind you of about who you are, who you were in your past, and relate it to who you are in the present is pretty it's pretty amazing. The guy's had a pretty rough life. Lots of drug use. I don't know. He has kids, and one of them's in prison. Just the whole idea of being in prison. I mean, we're all in different levels, kind of encapsulated in our own personal prisons. But to be out of prison, you don't have to look at your world as a prison. Most certainly not. Most certainly not. Oh, God. So I just bought this new brush, and I painted with it the other day, and then I just left it out without cleaning it. Can't believe I do that to my brand new babies. So hopefully I didn't ruin that brush. I need to come up with a new name besides philosophy and painting. I'll come up with a different name. Anyway, Incoat, Inchoate, Incoat, you know, it means to be incomplete. And I was thinking that's what I needed to name this painting, was incomplete. Not yet to its finished form. In process, I suppose. I just didn't know how much I actually wanted to dedicate to it. I have so many other paintings, which means a couple more paintings that I really want to get to, and taking an intermission from this one as opposed to just having it completed, you know, is probably what I'll have to do, but I'm not too excited about that choice. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm any bit smarter than I was when I was in high school. Sometimes I feel that way. Sometimes I feel everything has just been a lateral drift of slight information gathering. But as far as composing ideas, I don't know. I guess I've definitely matured. I just don't know whether or not my scope of vision is much greater than it's been my whole adult life. No, that's definitely not true. That's definitely not true. Yeah, because boy, I could have some in-depth talks with the high school. The high school me could use the adult me in a conversation for advice. I think I'd give myself quite a bit of advice. But anyway, seeing this old friend from junior high was just very completing. In that there I was, and there he was, and whatever happened to us, and there we were, exposed to the elements that make up all the trajectories of our lives. Well, I shouldn't say all the elements, but all of the summaries, of all of the elements that make up our lives was there in kind of a whole set in a reunion sort of manner. So I was thinking about making carpets out of the paintings. Like I've for a long time wished that some of my paintings were carpets, and that people could traverse over them and cover parts up with their feet and so forth. I don't know why that's important. That's not important. So great. This is another ramble video. But I haven't done a video for a little while, so I guess it's important. So, two of the friends whom I saw yesterday are smokers, and I was bumming cigarettes off of them, and I finally went and bought a pack of my own. I feel a little bad about that. I'm already feeling a little congested in the chest area, but there was something so meditative about it, periodically having a smoke, that to exclude it is kind of rough, and yet apparently there's some biblical idea that those who turn against God consume the bitter weed. That there's some biblical passage about that, and that a lot of people consider tobacco to be the bitter weed. But who knows? Who knows which Bible writer wrote that? I don't know. I'm not going to look it up. There was something about. See, I'm instinctually a Christian now, I suppose I should say, and by that, on my quest for a higher power, finding something that dazzled me so much that I had to grant over hyperdimensional entities, hence a higher or at least a different intelligence than our own, and then granting from that a theos of higher power. I started just looking around my environment and summing it up as one thing. I only have one environment, and what are the components of this environment? And the components of the environment included religious people and religious texts. And so I was consuming those as if they were as if the fact of its existence, the fact of the existence of biblical texts when one is searching for a theos kind of instigates the idea that if you are to find the answer in your environment, then you find it in religious texts. And if you find it in religious texts, then you're going to eventually bump into Jesus, I would imagine, even though other texts have nothing to do with Jesus. Being in Utah, I'm around plenty of Jesus memes, that's for sure. After all. Yeah, I'm not finding a lot of content on YouTube lately that is inspiring, but I haven't been spending as much time listening to YouTube either. Probably because I'm not finding content that's inspiring. Not really. Not not really. Not that much. Not to go on about. So I guess there's going to be some dead time in this video. Yeah, I really pissed off Amendem when I said that I think he'll go down in history as a woman hater, as a misogynist, and that'll be a big contribution on his part. And ever since I said that, I noticed that he really clammed up on the C word and on general misogynist ridicules. So I feel really proud of myself for that. And I got a new subscriber. So, ho to ho to the new subscriber. I'm busy pushing off my old subscribers, I'm sure, because I'm keeping rather boring on these videos because I've committed myself to making these videos. And you know, I shouldn't be whining about this painting so much. I should just be getting it done. It's just that, yeah, forget about it. I should just be getting it done now. Oh, well, I guess I should just say, because I totally wanted to watch myself later on go through however many videos it took to paint this thing to see where my mind was during the time that I was painting it. Like, what was I really lingering on? What was I really calling philosophy? What can I really put out to the public that they're going to think is philosophical? Anyway, so Luddite Returned made a video on his new channel, Rorschach and something else. It was pretty nice. I like his presence. But I can't for the life of me remember the detailed content of the video. Yeah, I should realize what this style of video making does to my audience. In terms of how it may push them away or how it may attract them, but mostly be concerned about how it may push them away. But then again, if I make a different video with a different sort of background, with a different sort of title, you know, I can bring people back. I think people just get tired of watching my slow monologues. Oh, and the reason I haven't been doing Tiny Chat lately is partially due to having to record from photo booth instead of from direct upload. In that I'm so used to recording live with the Tiny Chat person on, kind of swapping cameras between YouTube and Tiny Chat. You know, but I guess there could have been a real benefit. I guess there could be benefits if I did use photo booth. I could point the camera at this Tiny Chat screen, but I think I want to do live videos also. Kind of Google Hangout style live streams with people. More of them, more of those, more of that. I've been really liking the Imagine Dragons band. They're impressive. Ooh. Well, guys, 22 minutes is probably enough. That's probably a good cutoff point. Yeah, I wish I could get my head in the game today. It's just simply not. But when I saw that YouTube was allowing uploads again, I was just like, I'm giddy, I gotta paint. I gotta get on, gotta get on camera. Gotta say something. My little devilish figure. My little primitive man. So I'm torn between money-making ventures and studying 3D design. Kind of want to do them both, but I'm not certain that 3D design would allow me to split my energies. And money making, that's a racket that some people are good at that I kind of want to see if I'm good at. By money making, I mean like online businesses and so forth. I've been fiddling half-heartedly with that notion like three times since I've been on YouTube. And I just think they're all novel, but until I pull the real cat out of my hat, out of my bag, I'm holding off on, I guess, on the money making thing. Come on, highlight. Get in there right where you're supposed to be, highlight. Okay. Anyway, it's good to be back. When I actually think of something to go on about, I'll post another video. I'll keep doing this until I'm absolutely tired of painting this painting, and I know I can't stop until I know that each one of these characters is painted, colored, detailed, painted, highlighted, and refined. Like, this painting deserves to be refined simply by the merit that I've started it. Um, and I don't want to give up on projects that I start, but there's got to be an intermission painting that's pretty detailed also. So it had me thinking that this painting was probably going to take me close to a year to finish, with all of my emotional junk keeping me in the way of every day having a great attitude about painting on it. After all, nobody's commissioning me to do this painting. This is just one that I thought would be kind of cool if I could do it, and so I decided I was gonna do it. Okay, that's the part I'm missing. Nope, I keep tempting you guys with the end of my video. Maybe that's all I'll droll on about, is the end of the video. Are we at the end of the video yet? Are we at the end of the video yet? Anybody? Well, it's about time we get to the end of this video. This will be the first video that Object A doesn't comment on. Just kidding. Just kidding. You. It's nice to have another song in my head, other than, I don't want to get the other one in my head, so I don't really want to remember it. Huh. Anyway, maybe I'll enjoy looking at myself painting in some semblance of silence, even if you guys don't enjoy it so much. We'll see. I can't be happy with my past self all the time. I can't think I'm the coolest bean in the bucket just by virtue of being me all the time. how to paint a woman who's on fire without her looking like she's being burned. Yeah, anyway, back to the instinctual Christianity thing. It just appealed throughout me viscerally that I was in dire need of soul redemptive processes that, covering up my sin, so to speak, that a God who covers up sin would be a good God to leap towards, so to speak. You know, it all depends, I suppose. The God of your choice is probably based on very specific emotions that you go through. But I see now that the theos waxes over the body in many different directions, even in contradiction to itself, which I think is kind of an atheist vantage point, where the theos is negating itself, but it's like an entity that maneuvers over topics and subjects and finds associative meaning to mores in general, and that when it finds a more, when your theos finds well, for lack of a better word, a moral to the story or an associative topic that relates to stories about gods, then it can take on a funneling process and funnel all associative thoughts towards that Godhead, towards where the theos is pointing. But God and consciousness, God and the there-ness of everything seem to be uh, interlocked. And in my experience, there's even a curl back on the interlocking. It's not just an interlocking; it's a curling back that drags, that can drag your whole psychology, your whole reality with it. Where I think most people see their consciousness and their environment laced together nicely, they aren't begrudgingly pulled by some huge tantamounting arc that grabs their reality and tows them along as if they're a complete psychological slave to something other than than themselves, a psychological slave to a god, to a power, to something else. I don't think most people get there ever. But then again, uh, the veracity of difference of everybody that's on this planet, the way they think and what they're experiencing and what they're going through is just to think about other people's psychologies all rolled into one, all happening at once, you know, half the planet being awake while the other half sleeps, and just having that rotation of consciousnesses. And then thinking about animal consciousnesses, all the things that are going on in an animal's consciousness and psyche. It debilitates the mind to even try to conceive all of these things at one time. And then to think about plants and bacteria, and think that everything, plastic, rocks, all have an energy to them. They all can be said to have not a consciousness in the normal sense, as you know, because your instinct would be to war against that had I mentioned it. But kind of granting it its solidarity, that everything has its being solidarity by virtue of it being. I don't really know if we do create our own fate and our own reality, but I like to consider the idea. At times I would say we do. At times I would say there's the impression that we do. Whether we do or not. But there's something that feels like a very Euclidean approach to consciousness, and it kind of like this whole idea like my consciousness resides right behind my eyes in a Cartesian coordinate system, and this maintenance of the eye being in a locale as opposed to dreaming and imagination trumping one's present sense of locale of the eye is it's, well, I'm not certain of my commentary on that. Not certain what I want to say by that. So sometimes I feel like each video that someone adds to the internet, provided that the internet ever goes to an artificial intelligence of its own, you know, everybody's adding their message to that artificial intelligence to be gauged by it, as if that intelligence would be a singular thing with a singular position, as if artificial intelligence would not include a maintenance of contrary ideas that are supported at the same time with growing backing behind each one of them. Perhaps this was my problem the whole time. Perhaps just not painting with a small enough brush has been my bellyache about this painting. Solutions, problems. The thing I'm enjoying, the reason I didn't stop, is because I'm finding more to paint while we're chatting here today. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me today on Das Pook's little paint channel. Yeah, McGrew is the last name of one friend, and Sainsbury is the last name of another friend. And then the friend that I got on good terms with is Lawrence. Of all the people in the world that could be named those three names, whoop de whoop de whoop woo. But with her, it's just a matter of kind of not necessarily understanding, but forgiving. Some friends are like dogs that are playing or cats that are wrestling. They're still friends, but they're mighty attack oriented, and so they attack one another in a gesture of friendship. But a lot of people are so sensitive by that kind of interaction, they don't know how to befriend somebody like that, or they don't want to befriend somebody like that because it's too harsh. Well, this friendship is an attack-oriented friendship in a lot of ways. And because I understand that kind of friendship between men, I found I can understand it between a man and a woman. It's not enduring because the fights have to give out sooner as opposed to later. But then things can easily be set, there isn't a winner to the fight as much as there is just time apart from the wrestle. That's why MMA is such a dumb sport, is because it's not, well, I shouldn't call it a dumb sport. It's a great sport. It's a great sport. But at the same time, it's dumb because, well, I guess if the guy can tap out, then it's just fine. At any point the guy wants to tap out, he can. Otherwise, the point is to knock the other opponent out. The goal is not to kill your opponent in MMA. Simply attack, knock out. So I was thinking of Bruegel, the painter Bruegel, and he painted lots of miniature figurines all mixed together. And his paintings are so rich because if you stare at them long enough, you can create a narrative to the picture. Whether it's an authorial intended, a painter intended, um, narrative or not, doesn't matter. Damn the law of the excluded middle in that case. Okay. How am I doing? 44 minutes. Normally I do an hour. I'm 2 days, maybe 3 days without showering. God, what a weekend. What a weekend. Mm-hmm. And yes, I did go see a junior high friend unshowered. And partially knowing I was going to see him was reason why not to shower. There's just something about wanting to feel like I was just done tossing a football back in my old neighborhood street with him, or boxing. I used to box with the guy, and we would just sweat and sit in the sun and move into the afternoon, and the sweat would dry, and then you'd box again, and you'd re-sweat, and then that sweat would dry again, and it left layers on your body, and somehow that was an emotional memory I had with the guy. Whose name is Guy, by the way? Okay, this one is a little bit more difficult. And I'll just keep refining this guy. There's a huge arts festival going on in Salt Lake. And what kind of sucks about this arts festival is it's the same artists every year with a little bit of an exception. But it's normally the same artists doing the same stuff. And it's a real drag to not see new stuff down there. Someone's going on and I know who it is outside. Okay, I'm going to let it go. Thanks for watching. Bye. Bye. Bye.